Hi, and here we are. We're back. And when I say we, I mean me, because I can't find Susan. No idea where she is, which is why this show is called Now What Wednesdays, because really, all right, so here we are. Now, the theme for tonight, hilariously, is how much owning a solo business is like moving away from home for the first time. It's full of surprises and unexpected delights. So I want to get started. I just got some soda water here. I'm going to take a quick sip. And I'm welcoming you all back. Oh, yes, I have to do this thing, don't I? Hang on a second here. Where is it? Where does it go? Where do I get to say, um, oh, where's the caption thing? Hang on. Dear goodness gracious. Now I can't even see. Once more, yes, but where's the thing? Where do I get to say hello? All right. Hang on a second. I think I need to let that go or something. Yeah. I can't find the, oh, there it is. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Here we are, and we're live. And it would appear that, and here we are, Eddie. Oh, and Kelly, hi. All right. So here's what happened. Susan, my good friend, my fabulous client, and now colleague, had a run-in this afternoon, and she was running all over the place. And when she got home around 4:30, she said, "I'm just going to grab a quick nap." And I have a feeling that's where she still is, which is perfectly fine, because here's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the extraordinary surprise we all experience when we leave home and we get our first solo place. Because the similarities to a small business, and Eddie, you've been through it, you know exactly what we're talking about. It is this surprise when you realize how many things we take for granted when we're living at home. When there's somebody who's in charge of paying the rent, when there's somebody in charge of making sure there's food, when there's somebody in charge of making sure that the driveway is shoveled, if that's what happens where you are. And we just take it for granted because we've never known anything else. And then we get excited, we get independent, we get anxious and busy. And what we really want to do is be out on our own, be our own person. And we figure it out, and we got some money, maybe we got a job, maybe we're doing a part-time thing while we're still in school. Whatever it is we're doing, we think we've got it nailed. And then we actually move. And the beginning of it is crazy. The beginning of it is, and sometimes we get cocky. Oh, yes, we do, says Eddie. And so what happens is we don't know. And before we leave, we're so excited to go that it simply doesn't occur to us that maybe we need to know more. And I don't remember asking my parents of anything of significance. I just moved so many times, and in my case, what happened was I got a job, and they transferred me from where I was living with my folks, all the way up to New York. And I didn't know anybody, but one of the people from the job said, "You can come and live with me." So I lived with them for a bit, and then everybody discovered that I was allergic to their cat. So I had to find a place of my own. And when I moved, it didn't occur to me that there were so many things I just simply didn't know. And I was on the phone all the time with my parents saying, "Well, how do I, you know?" And it took me a good 3 to 4 months before I felt like I actually lived there. It wasn't real. I mean, it obviously was real. I wasn't at home. But I got to tell you, I was calling home every Sunday night and they would be talking me through things and have you done this? And I would say, yes, yes. But how do I, because you just have no idea, not the slightest clue how busy it's going to be and how complicated it can be. And you make mistakes, you either overbuy or you underbuy. And the place that I found on my own, it was kind of a last minute thing because I had never thought I was allergic to cats, but oh my goodness, I was allergic to this cat. I mean, I felt like I was walking around with pneumonia, and then I would be fine after an hour or so at work, and then I'd get sick again when I got back to the apartment. I couldn't figure it out. So when we finally put 3 and 7 together, right, and we came up with a perfect 10, I just had no clue. And it was exciting, but I was so young and, and I wasn't from New York and I didn't know anybody there, that it wasn't first and last month. It was first, last, and deposit, just because this guy didn't know. And even though he talked on the phone to my parents, they were way down in Miami. I mean, and so all of a sudden I had very little money and I didn't have any furniture. And I slept on an air mattress for the first month till I got my next paycheck. And my dad sent me some money, but just no clue. So what I want to talk about tonight is the trials and tribulations, the uphills and downs of what happens when we decide we're ready to start a business. Sometimes what happens is we get a job and we're working with somebody, and then we get an opportunity to branch out. They say, would you like to manage our other store? Or would you like to, take charge of this in this department while I'm away? You want to be my alter ego. And the thing is, what we don't realize as starting out is that the owner has created a level of trust with their customers, with their clients. And so all of a sudden you're answering the phone and they're saying, well, who's this? And you say, oh, it's Abby. I'm so-and-so's assistant. Well, I need to talk to so-and-so. Well, actually, he's not here or she's not here. They're at the dentist and they said, is this John? Yes, it's John. Well, John, yeah, but I need to talk to. And they don't want to be shunted aside. They don't care how trusted you are. You're not the person. You're not the bond they've got. It's a lot like trying to change a brand. You can't just do it because you think it's a good idea. So when you decide you're going to start out, so many of the mistakes that we make are because A, we don't know what we're doing, and B, there isn't a book that comes with it. And so, like tonight, I've been doing my other videos. By the way, end of September, the last day of September, when we're doing the other videos, the Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to hit 500. So exciting. So back to this, Now What Wednesdays. The whole idea of Now What Wednesdays is that I talk to people about unexpected things that happen that end up being hilarious train wrecks. And I just, and when I was talking to Susan, we sorted it out. We have the whole thing about the camera sorted out, except she has to be in front of it, doesn't she? And I said, I want to talk about the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur, specifically a solopreneur, because nobody has the slightest idea. It's like writing your first book. It's like riding your first bicycle. So, and as Eddie was saying, Alana, book Abby now for an event. Go get him, girl. Hilarious. And so when we've got an opportunity to start a business, the best thing we can possibly do is to reach out to somebody and say, will you mentor me? Will you please take me by the hand? Will you walk me through the bests and the worsts? Tell me what I need to have as a backup. And with every one of my clients who are deciding that they want to go into business for themselves, I said, so first you need this, then you need this, and then you need that. And I have this short list and I send it and I explain why it's so important. I was having a chat with one of my previous clients yesterday, and they are thinking of branching out. And I said, okay, now don't forget, you need to get this and this. And it was interesting because the reply was, oh my God, I'd forgotten. The thing is, I only coached them this year, but there's so much to remember, right? So in our conversations tonight, what I want to hear back, if you haven't started a business of your own, what was it like when you moved out for the first time? What was it like when you got your first place? How did that feel? Yes, you do. So, what does it feel like? What did it feel like when you came home that first day and you put your key in your lock and you opened that door and there you were and you couldn't wait to get inside, close the door, and just be, right? Just be your own person, your own boss in your own place. Oh, is Fred here? Hi, Freddie. Hi, Freddie. It's so exciting. It's so different. And then there's things, that you just didn't realize. Oh yeah, that's right. I did need to have this if I was going to do that. And who knew? And then how long do you wait for the phone to get hooked up? How long do you wait for the cable to get hooked up? Or if not the cable, whatever the services are. How fast does the landlord say, and I hope you have tenant insurance, and how quickly does somebody try to use your parking spot? And or like me in New York, it was on street parking, but it was alternate side of the street parking. I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but in Brooklyn back then, you on whatever it was, even days of the week, you parked on one side, and on the odd days of the week, you had to park on the other. I don't know why. And the first time I knew nothing about it, and I came out and my car was the only one, and everybody was parked on the other side of the street. And luckily I didn't have a ticket. But I thought, what happened? I didn't get the memo. And then you're coming home from work that first day, and it's like, oh my God, it's my first day coming home. And then there you are. But the things that creep up on you, the noises in the night, the situations that happen, and what's going on here. And what are we saying? Oh, there she is. Hang on. I don't know what she's going to say. She's going to say, so hang on a second. Now, what? Wednesdays. So here we are having this conversation, and Susan got the day mixed up. And so it didn't even occur to her that it was tonight. Whoops, hang on a second. You've just joined me, have you? Now I have to figure out how to do it. All right, hang on a second, honey. I'm going to close chat just for a second. And how do I do it? Yes, I want to add them. Yes, add to the stream. And there you are. There you are. Can you say something so I can hear you?
Hi.
All right then. All right. So hang on. Now I have to get the chat back. Okay, there we go. So I was just saying to them that this is one of the surprises about having a solo business. Because you never know.
You can't get on. Yeah, it's just, yeah.
So I was saying to everybody, so this is Susan. This is what she actually looks like when it's not just a cameo of her. And apparently you're now living in your...
I couldn't get on my computer, so I brought my phone in the car, and now the car.
I was going to say you're living in your car now. Is this what's happened? So
yeah, if I showed you the back seat, you would see that I live in my car anyways in general. So
Eddie is just saying hi. Hi, Susan,
hi.
With a hug. And so what we sorted out was it just took a whole bunch of clicks to try and finally figure out, and Susan had to go in and sort everything out in terms of plug this in and unclick that. And this is, in having the conversation about leaving home for the first time, because what I said was leaving home for the first time and getting your first apartment is like starting a solo business, right? It's so similar. There are so many things that you think, oh, please, oh, please. And then you're going, oh, please, because,
Yeah.
oh my God. And
Yeah.
when we were, and so Alana is saying, welcome, Susan. And who else is saying? And
Hi.
Callie Hewlett is saying, welcome, Susan.
Hi, everybody.
And so what what I wanted to talk to them about, it just occurred to me how perfect this was, because Susan started her business on the tail end of the COVID pandemic
In the pandemic.
and found a place. Rent was cheap because who's renting a place in the COVID pandemic? But Susan was also finishing her training, getting her license to run the business, and her kids, teenagers, granted, but they were still at home being homeschooled because, by the way, COVID. So so you were going to school, you were making sure they all got up and got on their computers, you were writing the books and running around buying furniture for your clinic.
And I was also taking care of my mom because she had gone into elderly housing, and I had to make sure that she was okay too. So
Yes. So the thing about starting a small business, the pitfalls and the assumptions you make, and what I was saying at the very beginning, when I was very calmly waiting for you, where are you? Was that it doesn't occur to us that it's complicated when you leave home and move into your first place. It doesn't occur to you that how many things were taken care of. Even if you were kind of co-parenting, even if you were really responsible, it still wasn't your house. The mortgage wasn't in your name. You weren't responsible for the insurance or the garbage pickup. You didn't have the contracts with the snow removal guy, right? So there's a lot of that stuff that just it's not on your radar.
what you mean my mortgage? What do you mean when I have my apartment? You mean okay? Yeah, no, yeah.
Right?
Right.
You don't know because you were home, right? When I was saying to them when I left, I moved up to New York and they didn't have the faintest idea who I was, and I had to pay first and last month and a security deposit. So I ended up with about $11.48 for the remainder of my first month, and I slept on an
No,
air
when
mattress.
so what happened to me was this. So we're not going to get into all the details, but what happened to me was I was in school in 2019. I had already decided not to pay somebody else's mortgage because I had already spent $30,000 of the money that I got when I got divorced on a house that I was renting, and I ended up buying a house and got a mortgage because I didn't want to pay someone else's mortgage. That was my thought. I'm like, why did anyone do this? I'm like, why would anyone pay somebody else's mortgage? I'm like, this makes no sense. And so I started looking for a house, and I ended up buying a house.
But
So
your
when I was in
first move
school,
out, first
right,
move out was an apartment.
it was a house. I was renting a house, but yes, it was a mortgage. It was $1,300 a month.
So, and what were your surprises? Remember
When I was in that house,
when you first moved away from home into an apartment? What did you?
I mean, there were a lot of different things, but I had just gotten in the accident for me, and so like I didn't know what was happening. I mean, I was awakening spiritually in different ways and learning about crystals and stuff at that time and stuff when I moved there. So everything was like a roller coaster. And my children I had just gotten divorced. So my kids were, at different schools, and I was trying to facilitate through that. And it was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, and none of the furniture in my house was from my home other than my bed. I gave him everything, and that's one of the things I would never do. Like, I didn't think about the grill and the snowblower and the generator and the shed,
Vacuum cleaner?
the vacuum. Like, I didn't think about any of that. I was like, you can take everything because you bought your house. I'll just start over. What? So everything in my house, even the kids' beds were like like thrifty. Like, there was nothing that was mine. Everything I gave to him. I was like, and now
So,
it's yeah.
so now when you are going to start a small business and you say, well, of course, I know how to sign a lease and I know how to do this and I know how to decorate that. And I'm saying to you, and you need to have insurance, and you need to have, legal things that protect you, and you need to have insurance, business insurance, and you're going, what? what? Right? And then, and now, oh, I'm so excited. And then you're waiting and nobody's coming, nobody's booking appointments. And it's not going to happen. And I've spent all this money. And then you get your first client. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. I'm getting my first client. And then they cancel. And you buy
Yep.
supplies and it's either too much or not enough. And you had no idea. Tell me how many loads of laundry you had to do because Susan runs it in massage clinic. How many loads of laundry?
I still do. I mean, I wash my own sheets. Like I don't have a linen company or anything. Like I take mine home and wash them and bring them back.
But the first couple of times you're thinking, why did I think this was a good idea?
I thought that the whole entire time because especially opening during COVID, the only reason, one of the reasons I survived, plus LLC, I got the LLC, but one of the reasons that I survived was because at that time, everyone was wearing masks, of course, and people were afraid of the virus and things like that. And because I did Reiki energy, which is you don't have to touch somebody with Reiki, I was able to energetically heal them without putting my hands on them, which is the time when I know that I needed to do that because people were a mess. People were a mess. And so I was able to survive because I opened in, technically, I found it in November of 2020. COVID just happened in March of 2020, and I officially opened my doors in March of 2021. And it was during the pandemic that I was open, and people were like, you're fucking, plus, don't forget I had a traumatic brain injury. So I've got people telling me after the accident, you're crazy. Don't you have a traumatic brain injury? I'm like, you have to how are you going to do this? Like, you can't even think right. I'm like, I have no idea, but I'm going to do it, I guess, because I have to do it. So, I mean,
what we had in your case is we weren't sure whether the confusion was because it's a new business or you. No clue. So Eddie has just said this. It sounds familiar to when we started our business, getting our first big design printing client back in 1996. We were tickled pink. Yes. And then you have to actually deliver. Oh my God.
yeah, yeah.
And it's so the fascinating thing about working, so the difference between working for someone else, showing up, becoming the trusted employee, and just before you joined me, they say, okay, so I'm going to put you in charge on Thursday because I got to go do this. And so there you are on Thursday, and a regular client calls, and they don't want to talk to you. They don't want you waiting on them. They don't want you doing the thing. They're looking, where's Bob? I need to talk to Bob. No, but Bob's put me in charge. No, he hasn't, because he would have told me if you were going to. So all of the things that are unexpected surprises, you think, I'm going to move out of home. I'm going to be on my own. You say, I'm going to start a business. I don't have to listen to somebody else telling me what to do. And then you realize you were enjoying the fact that somebody paid all the bills and paid you on time. And you didn't have to wonder if you were going to get paid because they promised you a paycheck. It's a very, very scary time of uncertainty. And when you're juggling a lot of stuff, it's hard to know where the uncertainty is. It just seems to be the whole thing, right?
And it's rewarding at the same time. And you helped me a lot because it was every time that I would get into a place, like you just kept telling me, just like laugh, like Susan, you can't change it. There's nothing you can do about it right now. And so, I mean, and then you would say something that would just make me either start hysterically laughing or sometimes crying. It depended on the day. But most times I would be just like, she's right. Like, why am I even letting this even affect me? It's not, for what? Like, what is this? Why is this even an issue right now? Like, I need to just forget about it, like whatever. And so now that's what I do. I like, and it's awful to say this, but like I've been in this position where this time right now where I'm like, you know what, it's my words right now lately, if I don't care, like, look, I'm here to help whoever needs to be helped and do whatever I need to do and make sure that my business stays afloat. If you want to be a part of it, that I would love that for you, but I don't want to force you to be a part of it either. Like, that's not, business is hard. Owning your own business is like, my God, cutting your arm off sometimes because, and especially we had the worst winter here. So it's like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my practice because I can't get clients because nobody can drive. It's like, it's a constant dynamic of, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But for some reason, the universe, grace of God, whatever. Like I've survived, and I know that a lot of it has to do with you too, because there's been many times where I just needed that voice, and I needed someone to hear me without being judgmental, and me feeling like I'm gonna hear something that I don't need to hear. You know what I mean? It's like, sometimes, and probably a lot of people on this right now, you want to have a conversation with someone, but you just want them to listen. But every time you talk to someone, sometimes it's like they put their like 2 cents in the middle. Like, so you're telling them something, and then boom, there's a boop, and then they talk again, and they're like boop. It's like this constant, like, it's like, can you all I need you to do is just listen. I don't need anything from
Let
you.
me just let me get it out.
Just listen.
Well, the funny thing, of course, when you're saying, it's crazy. When it's 7 o'clock and I came on and I said, "Hi, it's just me for the moment, and I'm sure Susan will be here any minute," and I'm laughing because so you said, "Why are you calling it Now What Wednesdays?" And I said, "Just you wait and see," because it's
Well,
the only.
but because my brain works the way that it works, we discussed something else. So of course my brain was there instead of here. So now I'm like, wait a minute, it's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be, and I'm like, oh shit, wait, no, it's tonight, not tomorrow. I'm like, oh my God.
And the thing, of course, that made you very comfortable and very happy and calm is that I'll forget it immediately and I won't hold it over you till the end of time, right? So that's the best part about this is I can hold it over you.
Because
So
life happens.
so I often say, that when I was doing a stage show that was all about disasters, and the critics said, "You do a lot of one woman shows." And I said, "I do." And she said, "Why is that?" And I said, "Because I know the cast is going to show up." Because people would say, "Oh, was that tonight? You're in the show. It was every night." And you suddenly realize that we make assumptions. And so Alana, here we go. Juggling this is all I do, but there are times I have to disconnect and just have me time. Yes. And then I'm ready to
Yeah.
go twice as hard and strong when I come back, right? So
Yeah.
Alana has a job. She has a kidlet. She has a couple of businesses, and she does event planning. And when we first started talking, I said, "You want to take me on and find me gigs?" And she said, "Sure, I think I've got 15 minutes every third Thursday. Why not? Let me take that on." So
Oh, I get it. I just got another phone call today. I get it. I get it. We take on so much.
so this is the other thing that I think is so important right now. And I have something fun to tell you. One of the challenges that we have when we decide we want to start a business, or we decide we're ready to move out on our own for whatever reason, whether it's out of our parents' home, or it's out of a relationship or a friendship, we decide that we're ready to go solo and carve our own path. And we feel that we've done the homework and we feel ready for it. But there's a lot of things that happen, and you touched on one of them, and it's so important. We forget what it's like to just have somebody there. Even if it's somebody who we're not on speaking terms with at the moment, there's somebody breathing in the next room. If there's a thump in the night, you can wake up and say, "Are you up? Is that you? Did you do that? Oh my God, what are we going to do?" There's a feeling of connection. And when you're on your own, unless you're raised like me as a single kid, a solo kid, and lots of moving around, and a lot of the work that I do, I'm here in my little office because I'm working here. I'm by myself more than I'm with people. So I've learned how to sort of dance between those two lives. But for a lot of people, it doesn't occur to them how much it costs. And
No.
it was perfect what you said. You just want to talk to somebody, but then you look at your list of contacts and you think, I don't know who's even going to understand why I'm struggling in this moment, because either they don't have a business, or they don't live alone, or they're from a big family, or they're just not standing in my shoes. And if they love us and care about us, they're going to try and be there for us. But it's like no, they can't grasp where we are, and that's frightening sometimes. You
Mhm.
know,
It is.
there
Yeah.
have been times when I've reached out to you and said, you got a minute? Because it is so exhausting being the one standing there, dislocating your shoulder to pat yourself on the back and give you a hug, when you just really would like to have somebody who grasps how hard it was and how relieved you are that the risk worked. You
Right.
know
And
what
the
I'm
thing is too that we talked about this too. It's like when you own a business, you are always your business. Like you are always your business 24/7. If you're out at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're still your business. Like you can't not be your business. You always have to have business cards. You always have to, you're never not your business. And as someone that wrote books, like I'm always an author too. Like everywhere I go, I'm there. Like here I am, like hello, here I am, and so and I think being someone that worked for many, many years, that owns a business now for 6 years, it's definitely been a learning experience for me and I'm still learning. I just did something today with that stupid creamer, and what I mean, like not being like, all right, whatever, it's just cream. I'm just posting on my page. No, you're branding it. Well, I'm not, so I'm still learning because it's like, well, I'm still a human. I'm still a human being. Like, why can't I still be myself? But in retrospect, you have to be really careful because there's liabilities involved and stuff too. And that's where it's hard to own a business, because you still want to be who you were, but you can't really be who you were because you own your own business.
what has happened now? So what Eddie is saying, humans are pack animals. Yes, it is natural to be, oh my God, what am I doing owning my own business? You said it. We're comfortable knowing someone else is around, even if they're asleep, and you have this overwhelming desire just to wake them up so that you're not the only one. Are you awake? If you drop something to make a noise so that they wake up, oh, I'm sorry, did I wake you? The thing about, and so the conversations that you and I have. So for the people who know me, I'm pushy, and
Oh, really?
so wait a minute. Kelly has said something wonderful. She said, Abby's a wonderful woman. She's very informative. Oh, and you're a strong woman, Susan. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Because
Thank
the
you.
the challenge is this that people don't realize. Um, there is a saying, you can't go home again. What it means, once you have taken a step down a path, you can't ever go back and be standing for the first time at the start of the path. You can't unknow experiences. And so, in a couple of instances that come to mind immediately for me, and that are very similar to yours, is that if we accidentally meet someone who just has a random axe to grind, and they look at us and they say, she's looking like she's having too good a time, I think I'm going to take her down a peg.
Yep. And that's what happened. Yep.
And and the conversations that we had, in the early months, I thought they were my friends. Why are they so mean? And the answer is because you changed and
Yep.
they didn't. And
Yep.
it's not that they were going to change, it's just they didn't expect you would. And so
Right.
now it's like you broke up with them and you didn't let them know. And you're saying,
Mhm.
why can't you be happy for me? Because you broke up with me. You don't hang out anymore. We don't get to do the same things because you're always tired. And so it really feels to them like you betrayed that friendship, when what you did was you traded in for a different friendship. You traded in for a primary relationship with your business, and they become secondary, and their nose is out of joint because they were here first. And unless they've owned a business, they can't remotely understand. Because the thing that I say to people, and Alona, you're going to, and Eddie, of course, you're going to know this, your business is helpless. You are the legal operator of the business. The business is helpless without you. It is
Yeah.
like an infant child, a permanently infant child. It cannot feed itself. It cannot clothe itself. It can't get itself in and out of the storm. That is all on you. Now, if you do it right, the business will then look after you because the business brings in the money that supports you. So it's a very strange, complicated relationship, because when people think of starting a business, they don't think of it as a very personal point of pride relationship. It's like when you got your books. Your books are your babies. I have books. I have books. And I'm going, I know, right? And it doesn't matter how many times I said you're going to sound like an idiot for about a year and a half, right? And the same thing with your business. It's, wait, you want my business card? I already have 15 of your business cards, Susan. Enough already. But you're so have you seen the clinic? Yes, 6 times already. They are jealous, not of the business, but of your passion for the business, because they thought it was always going to be your passion for the friendship. And it doesn't matter how many times you say, I can still call you my best friend when I get married. I can still call you my best friend if I have to move away. Why can't I still call you my best friend if I start a business? And they don't have an answer.
So
They
I
don't
think
have an
too
answer.
that no, but I think too that, and this is probably people are going to agree with me or not, I'm not sure, but I think too it makes you realize who is an acquaintance and who is a friend.
Because even if they don't understand what the hell you're talking about, if they say, do I need to bring over the one bottle of wine or the smaller box of chocolates? Or like, how big a tub of ice cream do we need for this meltdown that you're having? If they can do that, I have a very good friend I met working at a company that she was one of the owners of, and we would go to lunch every so often. And because I have always been a solopreneur, she could unload all of her frustrations. She and her two brothers ran the business they'd taken over after their dad. She could unload all her frustrations about being a business owner, even though I wasn't a colleague that way, because she knew that I'd been through it, and I still was working on the side. And she said, how, I don't know how you do it, because she had her two brothers. And she said, I don't think I would be able to run a business by myself. And I said, oh, it's the same. It's exactly the same. If your brothers are both away golfing, you're running the business. Now, Kelly is saying throughout life, you realize who your true friends are, who support and stand by you. And then Eddie just said, I said that years ago, having a business is like having a child. And see, they get it. And then, in Eddie's case, Eddie was working. They decided to start a business. They started the business. It was going great. COVID came. They had to close the business. And then you have to go back to being someone else's employee. So you were all in charge and all important. And all of a sudden, you're just one of many people showing up, and they're saying, you're late. You say, well, give me a break. Sorry, because you still think like a business owner, and the business owner you're now working for thinks of you like an employee. And so there's always these strange situations where you realize that you're not wearing the same hats.
So that's why you teach what you love.
Yes, yes. You try to do the work you love that fuels you, that's both a passion, a purpose, but also a practical path.
Yep.
And if you can somehow manage to make it balanced like that on three legs, like a milking stool, then you're not going to get yourself in trouble falling in love with the business and saying, I'm going to put all my money in this, and then all of a sudden there's a disaster at home, or there's something else unexpected, an accident with a vehicle, or somebody gets sick. You're suddenly juggling all these flaming chainsaws. And I think, one of the biggest challenges as well is when you look at an opportunity and you say to yourself, oh my God, and I know who's perfect to help me out on this project. And you call them and you say, can you come and help me on the project? Yeah, absolutely. But they're not a business owner. And they show up and they act like it's an afternoon cocktail party, it's a lawn party, it's a barbecue, but you're working. And you're saying, no, no, I seriously need you to be here to do that thing you do.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Oh, you mean I'm working? Yes, you're working. And they can't wrap their heads around it. Alona said, yes, just like an infant. It's what she said. A business can vomit on you, make you giggle, make you pull your hair out, make you happy, and cause you to lose sleep, just like an infant.
Yep.
Right? So I think
That's
the part
awesome,
of
Alana. That's awesome. I love that.
that great
That's
because
the best.
but I remember the time you reached out to me and you said, "Oh my God, I have to talk to you." There's I don't know this tenant who's moving in. I think I don't know whether they're if they're breaking the law. I don't know if they're dangerous. I don't know what we're going to do. There was somebody who was moving in around behind the other side of the building, and you didn't know what was going to happen. And I said, "Well, you're just going to have to roll with it because you don't own the building." And then it
Oh,
gradually
you're
sorted
talking about
itself.
my place?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there was a tattoo person next to me, and then somebody else was moving in, and I thought it was going to be somebody that was because somebody had said that they did similar work like I did, which I don't do tattoos, and so I thought it was going to be another person next to me that did what I did. Matt wouldn't do that, but that's what I thought. So of course, I was afraid.
Of course, because you're thinking, hey, 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 wait a minute. So, one of the things, because I want to talk about this as well, the assumption that people like us is lovely. And quite often they do, until it's business. And then when it's business, they behave differently. You say, so I'm in business and I'd love to, you got to come to the clinic, you got to see it. They expect freebies. Or they don't understand why they can only have, well, I know it's only 90 minutes, but I thought we could kind of hang out. No, because I've got another appointment. Blessedly, I've got another appointment. Get out. And they're offended because they thought they were just going to come and hang and it was going to be amazing. And or they show up for the appointment and they've brought somebody to just hang out with you. And you think, no, 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 we don't have time for that. And so, Elena, you're going to tell me, and Eddie, you're going to say the same. You're going to tell me the same thing. It surprises me when people don't realize that what I'm doing is work. They know it's work. They know in part of their head that it's work because it's a trade show and everybody's got a booth and they're selling things. And I've said, can you come and volunteer and help me? Because I have a lot of stuff going on. They say, oh, it'll be fabulous. And then they come and they say things like, so I'm just going to go in, I'm going to walk around for a bit and check things out. You can't walk around and check things out. Your job is this. Well, I know, but I've been here half an hour. I'm going to take a break. No, no, you're not taking a break. You've been here half an hour. What is wrong with you? And they have day jobs. And they would never
That's
think
how
of showing up
that's
and saying, I'm gonna take a break. The owner would say, what? What, you just got here. So
yeah.
they have a very difficult time accepting us as a business person. And so Kelly say yes, they expect you to drop everything for them because
Yeah.
they
Or charge it
they're
back. Yeah. Yeah.
and they're really quite surprised that you charge them full price. So
Yeah.
they want
You're
they
not
want
charging
that
me
improvement.
$100. Why aren't you charging me $50? What? Because you might what? No.
You're my friend, but I don't love you that much, right? And don't realize it's work. Bingo, right, Eddie? Right? Because so when I work, I'm I'm doing an event, and people are coming, and I'm entertaining them, and they're having a fabulous time because that's the point. They paid to come in, and I'm giving them a fabulous time. It doesn't occur to them that this is what I do for a living. I mean, in their head they know it's what I do for a living, but they're I mean there have been times in an audience when in the middle of a show somebody in the audience has said, hey Abby, or we'll see you after the show, and you think, what the hell are you doing because they don't understand the invisible wall that separates us, personal us, and business us, right? And it doesn't matter how many times you tell them. They can't, and I don't know, Alana, you'll tell me if I'm way off the mark. You you have a little one and you work in the school system. Everybody knows the teacher is the teacher, but if there, I guess it would be, the question would be is if one of the kids in the school, the parent was a personal friend of yours, if they would assume that they could blur the lines. I don't know, has that ever come up for you? Because it's really difficult to maintain the friendship without offending the friend, and at the same time explaining to them that I have rules and I have boundaries and they have to be respected, right? And so this brings me back to the conversations that I have with you, because it is easy to forget that social media is more than a drop in to say hi to people. Oh, so Alana's saying yes, but it's rare because a school, everybody kind of understands that there's guidelines and rules, right? Because it's, I don't know, because it's an institution, I suppose. But when we assume, first of all, social media is fabulous because it's free marketing. Oh, hang on. So Eddie's saying we had our share of clients for one reason or another would expect not to pay full price, forgetting that our time and material goods were worth something. So even if you said, listen, I'll discount the fee because I love you, but the printing is the printing and the deliverable is the deliverable, right? And they have no clue, right? I came across that line with a family unless I know they won't take advantage. Yeah, this is what Alana's saying. They have to understand that there's a line. But the thing about social media, the thing that is so seductive is that if we have used it, and again, it's your business, you've been in business for 6 years, which is a good stretch of time, but the majority of your adult life has been working for other people. And so being on social media was a personal thing, a social thing, and you used it to connect with people that you've known for a while. To suddenly realize that there is a dividing line, and you have to be more careful, because if you say this is my business and I'm telling you that there's this wonderful opportunity and please come to my clinic and come and see my new clinic and come and visit me at this special event, I'm going to be doing this at this antique fair and I'm going to be that over here. It's a wonderful platform because, by the way, global, by the way, 24/7, by the way, free. There is no marketing like that. It is the most brilliant opportunity if people use it well, because there you are. You don't have to spend money on ads if you manage it properly. So,
Right.
but the dividing line, I didn't go on Facebook, on social media, until I decided, oh, wait, I can market myself this way. I've been a business owner for decades. So the mistake we make is saying, hey, everybody, who wants to get together after work? There's a sale on it, such and such. And I'm watching and I'm saying, don't do that. You've just promoted a business. And did they pay you for that because you have a business? No, it was just a personal thing. No, but if your two businesses are connected, now if they do something wrong, you get blamed. And if you do something wrong, they get blamed. But I just wanted to tell my friends, but that is what the telephone is for. You you can text them, and it's such an eye opener. And when you and I have conversations, and I say, "Do you know that that is in fact true? Can you state? Do you know where they get that thing they're selling?" No, but everybody does it. No. If you're going to talk about it, you need to know where they get it. On the off chance that somebody says, Susan said it was this, and now it's not. And it's so hard. You tell me, because how hard is it to break just a casual, not even thinking about it habit?
It's not
How
easy at all.
flamingo on your lock screen? Yes, that. So when it because it's automatic. What I finally said to Susan, and I know she forgives me, I said, here's an idea. The people who are coming to your clinic have day jobs, so they're not up late. No posting after 9 p.m.
No, you said no posting after 6.
I pulled it back to 6 because I thought, oh wait, no, we've still got 3 hour window for her to do something. No, 6. because then you can't get it back. And you'd say, well, only 3 people liked it. Yeah, but there's people who scroll by and they look and then they tell their friend. It is so difficult. I don't even know what the number would be. Eddie, you weigh in on this, okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, all the completely automatic things we do a million times a day that we have to think, oh, did I do it? Did I do it? Oh, shoot. And now I have to take that down and rewrite it. How easy would it be to realize that you'd put your foot in it? Because I have sometimes seen 3 things that I want to share, and then somebody says, don't share so many things on our group. Oh, sorry, no, I didn't mean to be doing that. But I'm trying to navigate what is acceptable and what is not. And then when you go on a different platform that operates a different way, and you use, like, LinkedIn is a completely different experience, and how they're doing what they do. Are you at sea? What happened?
No, sorry. It's just I got this blackness on my I have no light because I'm in the car and now it's getting dark out. So I'm like, you can't see. So I'm trying to see where there's light, but there is no light. So
You look fabulous, darling. So what would be, let's do this because we're coming on to 10 to 8 and I don't want us to go an hour and a half like we did last time. Tell me, Eddie, I want you to chime in a lot of the same thing. Kelly, because you know a lot of people in business, your brother, right? Top 3 things that blindside first-time business owners, first-time entrepreneurs, where the buck stops with you. Top 3. What do you think? Now you've done a lot of different kinds of businesses. You put your foot in the interesting turbulent waters of multi-level marketing for a while. That's a whole different kind of entrepreneur thing because you're supported by an industry, but you're still the solo person, and you have to get 3 friends, and they're 3 friends, and now you're babysitting. So that's one kind of solopreneur thing. Because when you're the upline, you've only got somebody over there. You're really on your own. So top 3 things. What do you think would be the biggest mistake that you would go out of your way to never make again if you were going to start another clinic or go into a different branch of what you're doing? Like, you're looking at going into a slightly different branch of what you're doing. You're looking more at, not instead of the integrated healing and not instead of the energy work, but you're looking at doing some more advice, and you're looking at getting people together in groups to talk about their issues. People coming to you, especially in your case, they sign an intake and then they place a lot of trust in you because they're willing to believe that you can heal their pain. And in the process of healing their pain, you can also diminish the anxiety that they're feeling about the pain. Because everybody assumes that if I'm in pain, there's something really seriously wrong with me and I'm going to die in half an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you have to do to make sure when they place their trust in you, and then you say, okay, get changed and I'll be outside and then we'll wrap this up, they have been completely vulnerable to you. Do they then assume a closer connection to you because of that? Or are they awkward and embarrassed when they come out? Like, what, how is that?
No, I don't. I think that, so me being an integrative healer and doing integrative work is a little bit different than someone that just does let's say therapeutic massage, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
I see the whole person. I don't only see the physical part of them. Like I see their internal mechanism. I see all that. And so when they fill out an intake, I'm looking more into the intake than anything because I want to know, did they check off depression and anxiety? Did they check off ringing in the ears? Did they check off sleepless nights? Did they check off anything that they checked off? I look at, and then that's how I usually plan and then I ask them, do you want an integrated healing session or do you want just specifically got a Swedish or deep tissue massage, like whatever. Most people want an integrated.
Sure.
My problem in the beginning was this, like I could see in them what they couldn't see inside themselves, and so I would try to fix what was going on with not to harm anyone, because I would never harm anyone with my words or my touch or my services, nothing. But because I wanted them to feel just that one time, that feeling that they hadn't felt in years.
Right.
And in the beginning, it was good. It was good. It was good. And then it wasn't good because I was pushing too fast. So over the past couple years, I've pulled back and not done then, and I don't do that anymore. Like it's on their terms at their time when they're ready. Like, and if they're not ready, they're not ready. But what I learned, what you just asked that question was, I didn't know. I mean, like you said earlier about the business, like I own the business, yes, but I never realized how much it meant that I was my business. I was in my business. I had to always be my business. That was one thing. The second thing was, I said the wrong thing when I first opened. Never say the wrong thing when you open a business because it will manifest in a way you don't want it to. I said, if I only make enough to pay my rent, I'm okay with that. No, 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 no. Because no, that doesn't work, because then you have oil and you have electric and you have oil to buy oils, to pay for oil. You have to buy all of your products. You have to make sure that you have to, I mean, all these things. So that was not, and I still fight that within myself because I don't know why I ever said that, and I was actually, it's funny because I was doing my calculations and I was like, all right, I made this month, I made this month. So I actually made, whatever amount of money. And I was like, man, that's not enough. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm going to work, I'm busting my gonads off trying to make sure that people are healed. And I'm barely making enough to pay my bills.
And then when we first started, and I said, now let's talk about the hours and the days that you're going to work. And you said, oh, I want to be open every day. And I said, okay. So now, so let's have a conversation about, it's a really bad snowstorm and I wake up and I have a really bad cold or a migraine or my kid broke his leg. Oh, well, no, I'd have to do that. And I said, okay, so, and what about this? And what about that? And so you were saying, okay, but I, I can work this many days. And I said, well, and which days are you going to take off? Oh, I don't need to take any days off. Yeah, you need to take days off. And then recently, it was hilarious. You said something like, and I know I'll get it wrong. You said, oh my God, I had 4 people. I'm exhausted. I can barely walk. And I'm thinking to myself, I remember when you said you could do 6 a day. And I thought, yeah, I'm glad I talked to you.
No, because I didn't realize how much, and maybe this is everyone on here right now. I don't think we realize in general how much energy that people take out of us. So energy is very, very powerful. And doing Reiki and massage, yes, that's what I do for work. But my energy is also going to friends. It's also going to my children. It's going to my mother who's 92 years old. Like I have to wear so many hats, you know what I mean? And so every time I do that, we do that as humans, actually, not just me in general, but we are giving away our energy. And I don't know about you, but I now say to myself, all right, and I say this to clients too, like, you go to work, right? Yep. I say, okay, do you get paid to go to work? Yep. I go, okay. So you get paid to go to work. I said, so if your boss said to you one day, okay, you got to come to work, but I'm not going to pay you anymore, what would you say? They'd be like, well, I wouldn't go to work. I go, then why would you give your energy away for free?
And when you were saying, Well, we do the thing and then they stay for another hour. No, they don't stay for another hour if they're not going to pay you for another hour. And you say, yeah, but they wanted to talk. Good, have a coffee later. And it's so hard. So Eddie's saying, oh God. So Eddie right now is dealing with sciatica, right? And he said, I can't
Oh,
imagine running a design studio print shop with sciatica, right? And when you and then Kelly's saying, you have to realize how important contracts are, schedules are, business work time, stick to it, take the time to do a checklist, stand your ground. And we know that's true, and we know that we need to have boundaries, but what we forget, and you just said it so beautifully, you need a break because
boundaries. That's it. Boundaries, boundaries,
right,
boundaries,
because you have a
boundaries.
client and then you have a half hour between clients. Okay, but if they stay 15 minutes, now you only have 15 minutes to the next client, you need to change the sheets, you need to spruce up the room. That barely gives you time to go and freshen up. And if somebody shows up early and you don't know what to do because you don't have time, by the end of the day you're done. And I
Yep.
know that when I do, sometimes I've had a situation where I'm doing my fabulous Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and then I immediately have a client call half an hour later. I leave a half hour before and after, but I have a client call and it's a couple of hours and it's intensive and they're anxious and it's a lot of detail work. And then if I try and pace the client calls, but at the end of the day, I'm thinking, I think maybe just soup, and could I maybe get the soup to make itself and walk itself over to the table here because I'm exhausted. We don't realize how much of our energy we are giving. And so what Eddie said, I'm going to sneeze here. Um, excuse me. Eddie says where I work is very high on the work-life balance. He works at Aldi. They ask if we want extra hours or sub for someone, but thankfully they don't expect it or demand it. So it's got a really great professional slash family feel. Whereas before that, Eddie was in a very, very small family business, and they were blurring the lines all the time, bringing family issues to work and expecting the employees to be as loyal as family. And
Has Eddie, can I ask Eddie a question? You
right,
mind,
of course,
Abby?
yep.
Eddie, have you had a massage? I'm just curious, only because sciatica, it is in that area, but it also can radiate up your spine. And sometimes when you have a massage and they get into that part of like the muscles in your spine, like your rhomboids and your serratus anterior and your levator scapula, all these muscles or whatever, it goes down your body and it can go into that sciatica and help alleviate it. Or, and if that's not something that you want, acupuncture works as well. Very good for that. Just so you know.
That's really great. So Marnie, my dance pal, who now does massage, was saying, Eddie needs, stretching stuff. He's saying not yet, and if I plan on it, thankfully my insurance covers massage. Well, wonderful. So I was in a car accident. I had some acupuncture and then acupressure.
Sorry, Abby. Make sure you tell them, Eddie, what's really going on though. Like when you get there, like if it radiates up your spine, if it goes down on your quads, if it's on your thighs, if it's in your IT band. Make sure you're very scriptive with them when you go so that they know. Because a lot of times what happens is like we think we know and then we don't know. And so you're better off to like lay it all on the line so they know where they need to put their hands the right place and the deep tissue the right place so that you're not one climbing off the table because it can hurt a little bit, and two, that they know that they're working directly with you and for you in the way that you need them to and not the way that they feel like they need to. Does that make sense? Sorry.
No, it's great. So he's saying thank you, darling. So I have a question, Sue. Would it be gooder or not for Eddie to go to a sports massage clinic?
It depends. If he's never had if he's had a massage before, yes. If he has,
Okay.
if not, no. because especially depending on the pain he's in, sports, sports is sports. I mean, they're about, and you have to do some pain is, pain, no gain, right? So some pain is definitely necessary, but there are therapists that work with the pain to get into the muscle pain, and the therapists that dig into the pain. So you just have to know which you want. you know.
So yes, that's Eddie just said, isn't sports massage a little more intense, which is what you're saying. So he said quads. So you had asked him about where it goes. He says quads and sometimes calves. If it's really bad, I'm pretty good at pointing where it hurts.
Good. Yeah.
So it's going down as opposed to up, right?
Yeah. So it radiates up. Yeah. So I mean, either way, I think that as long as you're open and honest with them about exactly how you're feeling, and and definitely when you're on the table and they're working on you, don't be afraid if the pain is too much to raise your hand or say ouch or whatever you need to say. Don't feel like you have to take the pain, because they can lessen up a little bit, and even though still be doing the same, it doesn't have to hurt to be fixed.
That's the important thing. I know that, when I have knots in I have a long muscle tear, and it's on my right side, and of course computer mouse, so I make it worse. And then when I go and have a massage, it feels my therapists have all said it feels like there's a tennis ball in there. And I said, you should see it from my side, how it feels, because I didn't think I had room for a tennis ball in there. And so there's
Yeah.
there's so many things that we oh, he's saying love you ladies a lot.
You can
We love you
always get my
too.
number from Abby too. I'm happy to share. You can always to ask Abby for my digits and or whatever my information. And I'm happy to talk to you about this a little bit more if you want to, and kind of, get a little bit deeper into what's up.
Well, that's sweet of you. Thank you. So
Yeah.
the thing that I notice in because I started off with the client situation, helping people write a book. And then I realized that the process of writing a book was a lot like going to a therapist, except that instead of lying on a couch and talking about their childhood, you're writing it out of you and getting it out of you onto a page so that you can manage it and organize it and decide where you want it, and 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 what to do with it. And then in that process, once you've got it out of you, you're ready to look at yourself and your world differently, because you're no longer carrying this thing bottled up inside you. You're free to think of new things. And I realized it was quite funny. It might actually have been Andrea, the therapist, who said this is a form of therapy. And I said, is that right? Can I charge a therapist rates? And she said, no, you can't charge, but she was meaning her. um, but the idea of, so Eddie's going to send me a message, and yes, and we'll take care of it, Eddie. We will. When you realize that you're ready to move something that's in here to some other place, to get it out of the way, now you're free in that spot to do something else. And so many times talking to somebody about owning a business, about being a solopreneur, it changes the way you think about yourself. It changes the way you see the world. It changes the way everybody who runs a business can get distracted. And I think the beauty, and you'll tell me, Susan, if you agree, and Eddie, because you've done this as well, and Alana, it is in bigger businesses, I think, that people can forget that it's the personal element that means everything. When your clients come to you, they don't feel like they're a number. They don't feel like that they are your the third client today. They feel special, right? I just lost you. Susan, I just lost your picture. They feel as though they matter to you on a very personal level.
There you are.
And yes,
Abby.
I'm here. Can you see me? We lost the connection. I haven't touched anything. I'm over here. I think she's gonna come back. So when they come to you and they feel a very personal connection, because you are the solopreneur, because you are the business owner, and you are giving them what you do, it is so difficult to maintain that business distance, right? Oh, there you are. You're back. Hang on a second. And there you
I
are.
lost you.
That's okay. Eddie, you're going to have to go now. Going to have a hot bath. So we'll chat, honey. We'll chat and get
I was
all
gonna
the.
say, do you have Eddie? Do you have any Epsom salt? If you have any Epsom salt at all, if you have lavender Epsom salt, that's awesome. But even just Epsom salt, just put some Epsom salt into the bathtub. It will help with your joints and it will help with that sciatica.
Yeah, I've actually talked to him about that a little bit. So we'll talk,
Yeah.
Eddie, and so here it is. It's 8:10. So we've done it again. We're going over our hour. What I love about this kind of conversation is that people who feel that they could, he's saying yes to Epsom salts with half a
That's
dozen
on tap. That's
exclamation
on
marks.
tap.
Yeah, and
He
so
wrote that's on tap. That's funny.
I know. So we know that when there are disasters, and we know other people who are solopreneurs, there are people who get it. Kelly, she doesn't own her own business, but she knows a lot of people who do. It is like having a very special child who is a lot to handle, and at the same time they're very special to you because they are a lot to handle. Is that fair? Does that make sense? Nope, I lost her again. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I think she's going to try and come back just for the goodbye. So take care, Eddie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to explain to people that Susan and I are talking about doing a special added feature. We're looking at it in the future. We have to iron out all the details, but the idea would be that we would all be on camera and we would all be able to talk about our issues. And we're just going to work out the logistics of that, because I think that's probably the next layer. Susan, I was
Abby.
just saying that yeah. You're back? You can't see me. You're gone. So the idea is to gradually grow this, gradually make this something that, there you are. I'm just telling everybody that as we're wrapping up, that you and I are trying to conceive of a way to get people on camera with us. Conceive of a way that we are all having the conversation where we get to give and take and get advice and give advice to each other. That's what we're kind of working on. Are you gone as well, Kelly? Thank you, darling. And I'll see you Thursday. So I think that's going to be the wrap. And how we wrap it up is I do this every time, that I want to tell everybody to be good to you because you deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones because they deserve it too. They have to put up with you. So Susan, you and I will speak at a higher level. Thank you for coming. Thank you for realizing.
Sorry, I was late.
It's quite all right. So we will talk, and everybody, thank you for coming, and tell your friends that this thing is growing and we're gradually figuring it out. The technology is a whole new thing. And we will catch you all next time. Susan, do you want to hang on for just a second? And I'm just going to talk for a second.
I'll call you or call me. Michael was calling me. That's who was calling me. And I have to call him back. I don't know what's going on. So I have to call him back. But after that, we'll talk.
Okay.
Bye,
all right.
everybody.
So goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you on Thursday if you can make it at 10 o'clock, the usual time.